earn between $100,000 and $150,000 a year, and more than half of people in that range live paycheck to paycheck. Not tight, not careful, paycheck to paycheck, the same phrase you'd use for someone earning a third of that. And if you're chasing your next raise, hoping it finally fixes that feeling, here's the uncomfortable part. It might not. By the end of this, you'll know exactly why. And the one part of that equation you can actually control. It's not a naive thing to assume, by the way. More income really should mean more room to breathe. More saved, more spent without flinching, less to worry about. That instinct isn't wrong. It's just missing 3 things that grow every single time your paycheck does. Quietly, automatically, before you ever get a say in it. The first one shows up before the money even reaches your bank account. Everyone knows a raise gets taxed. What most people picture wrong is how much and why. The US uses a bracket system. The more you earn, the higher the rate, but only on the slice of income inside each bracket, not on everything you make. Say you get a $10,000 raise that takes you from $100,000 to $110,000. Under 2026 tax brackets, the first $5,700 of that raise is still taxed at 22 cents on the dollar, the same rate you were already paying. But the remaining $4,300 crosses into the next bracket and gets taxed at 24 cents instead. Keep climbing toward $150,000, and more of every new dollar sits inside that higher band, not the lower one underneath it. Here's the part worth knowing before you panic though. A raise can never actually shrink your take-home pay. Only the income inside the new bracket gets the higher rate. Everything you were already earning stays exactly where it was. The tax system takes a bigger bite of the new money. It never touches the old money. That's the government's cut. The next one is a cut you sign up for yourself, usually the same month. A bigger income doesn't just mean more money coming in. It means more money a bank will hand you. Mortgages and car loans get approved based on income. So the same raise that grows your paycheck also grows the size of loan you can qualify for, and most people use at least some of that new room. A $50,000 jump in salary run through a standard lending guideline can unlock a meaningfully bigger mortgage, sized almost exactly to match it. But the intuition flips here. This isn't really about debt crushing anyone. It's simpler and a little sneakier than that. The loan amount just happens to scale almost exactly with the raise, because that's literally the formula a lender uses to decide what to offer you. So a real fixed chunk of the new income is already spoken for the moment you sign. A bigger mortgage payment, a nicer car payment, before it ever gets the chance to feel like extra. Even after tax, even after the debt payment, most people still assume whatever's left is finally spare money. That's exactly where the third force gets it. This one won't show up on a pay stub or a loan statement because nobody sends you a bill for it. It happens inside your own head. Whatever standard of living you get used to becomes the new normal fast, and once something is normal, going back to the version before, it doesn't feel like saving money. It feels like losing something you already had. Psychologists have a name for this: hedonic adaptation. The nicer apartment, the newer car, the restaurant that used to be a once-a-year thing and is now just what Fridays look like. None of it registers as overspending in the moment because each step only ever looks like a small, reasonable upgrade from wherever you're already standing. Nobody sits down and decides to blow their raise. It just becomes the new baseline, one small upgrade at a time, until the old baseline is the thing that would feel like a downgrade. There's a name for that pattern too: lifestyle inflation. None of these 3 is dramatic on its own. A slightly higher tax rate, a bigger loan payment, a nicer lifestyle. Here's the part that actually explains that paycheck-to-paycheck number from the very start. Tax, debt, and lifestyle aren't 3 separate problems. They're 3 automatic reactions to the exact same signal: a bigger paycheck. The moment your income rises, all 3 trigger at once. Not because you made a mistake, not because you were careless, because every one of those systems is built to respond to that exact number the instant it changes. Add all three together, and a raise that looks like a clear win on paper can arrive at your actual spare cash and leave almost nothing behind. Not because the money disappeared, because it was claimed 3 separate times before you ever got to decide what to do with it. 2 of those 3 things happened to you completely automatically. The tax bracket isn't something you negotiate, and neither is what a lender decides to offer you. But remember that one thing we said you'd know by the end? This is exactly where it starts to show up. This isn't a one-off. It's a question a national survey has kept asking since 2022, and the answer keeps landing in the same range, often a majority, sometimes closer to 4 in 10, but consistently a large share of people earning $100,000 to $100,000 report living paycheck to paycheck. Even above $200,000, more than a third have said the same, in more than 1 year of asking. So, of the 3 forces, which one is actually yours to control? Not the tax bracket. That's decided the moment you file. Not the loan. That's decided the moment you sign. But lifestyle inflation runs on a delay. Your sense of normal doesn't reset the instant your salary does. It drips upward over weeks and months, one upgrade at a time. Which means there's a window, right after a raise lands and before your spending has caught up to it, where the gap between your old life and your new income is still sitting there, unclaimed. That window is the one lever in this entire equation that belongs to you. The move is simple to say and hard to do. The moment a raise lands, move the difference between what you used to spend and what you now earn somewhere you can't casually touch it, before your sense of normal catches up. That window closes faster than most people expect. A raise doesn't make you richer by existing. It makes you richer only if you get to the gap before your lifestyle does. So think back to your last raise. What was the first thing that quietly got more expensive right after it landed? Tell me in the comments.